Hi, everyone. Welcome to Youth Connections Café. Would like to do a shout out to Youth for Change Canada for allowing us to be here on this platform where we connect, we create, and inspire. Youth for Change is all about engaging our youth and providing marginalized population with opportunities in the community. We have an amazing guest speaker today, and he is from the York Regional Police Recruiting. His name is Amory. I'm going to go right into it, but my name is Lynne McIntee. I'm your host, and we're very, very happy for you to be here today. Don't forget to follow us on social media, give us a like, and if you have any ideas for programming, we would absolutely love to hear from you. All right. Welcome, Amory from York Regional Police Recruiting. Today, we're talking about Pathway to Policing, and he is our guest expert today.
Thank you very much, Lynn, for the introduction. Thank you very much, Sunil and Jennifer as well. I thank you all for being here today. So as my friend said, yes, I'm Amari Watkins. I work for the York Regional Police Service. I've in my 21st year. I have 9 years to go. I'm not going to say I can't wait because things are going great. So I just have 9 years to go, and I'm happy with that. But in all honesty, things have been great. As I said, I've had the opportunity to work in different parts around the organization. But my thing, honestly speaking, is I was always drawn to the community service side of things. And I always preface it by saying that I understand that investigations are truly very important, but that's kind of like our job. Our job as police officers to investigate and catch the bad person, for lack of a better term. But what our job isn't is to make people happy. And that's my thing. Like, I'm out there, as I said, I've been doing that for the last 21 years, humbly speaking. And I just absolutely love that side of policing. So as I said, there is like the thing about policing, there's so many opportunities, like it's out of control. Like as long as I've been on, as I said, I don't know everything about the organization. Obviously, I wouldn't have that opportunity. But what I can say is we have something literally for everybody. And without further ado, I am going to be going into our presentation. And if there are any questions at any point in time, please feel free to ask, however you want to do it, if you just want to get my attention. And as I said, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. And if I don't have the answer, I can always take your email, or I can get in contact with Lynn, and I can provide the answer to any questions. Okay, so it doesn't have to stop after the presentation. I will provide my information, my contact info, so I can be reached out to after if there's any questions or if there's any mentorship opportunities or anything like that. So I am here for you guys. So we'll get started now. So as you can see here, the presentation today is going to be on our uniform recruiting information session. And understand that this presentation is something that we give to the broader public or to the general audience, to our citizens out there. And it's recently been revamped, so it's a lot more informative. It's a lot more eye-catching. But the good thing about it, we try to have information within the presentation that you couldn't Google or you couldn't find on our website, because then it wouldn't make any sense. It would just be us regurgitating info, and we don't want to do that. We want to ensure that the presentation that we are giving is something that is engaging and something that resonates. All right, so I will get started. So just a bit of an overview of what we'll be going into today. We're just going to be looking at the values, our motto, and some of the advantages of York Regional Police. We're also going to look at the minimum requirements, because that's important for us to know potentially what you need to do before you do apply with us. We're going to look at some of the recruitment processes around just some of the career paths. We have many. We have about 5. As you can see here, we have the police constable career path, we have the special constable career path, an auxiliary career path, civilian career path, and then we have the experienced officer career path. So as I said, something for everybody. We're gonna look at the recruit training. And within that, we have a very special part that we're gonna be looking at the interview and what to basically do to prepare yourself for an interview with York Regional Police. So that's something that you wouldn't get anywhere other than an info session. And last but not least, I'm going to provide my contact information like I advised. And if anybody wants to reach out to me at any point in time, I'll be more than happy to facilitate any sort of response or any sort of request that may be brought my way. All right. So any questions, any concerns before we get started? Well,
Jennifer, anything? I know you've
I am all good right now.
You're all good right now?
Thank you so much.
I'm thinking maybe, Lynn, you guys can, post on your, social media, like, the Facebook or Instagram, this program, if any question, anything, talk to.
yeah, yes, sir.
Great
That's
idea.
Sunil, sir, look at you. That's great. I love it. I love it. Okay, that's
Thank you.
perfect.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you
Yes.
decide to get into policing?
So that's a good question. I like to ask why. So my why, as I said, I've been on 21 years. I had an aunt, well, I have an aunt who recently retired from Peel Police, and she rose to the rank of deputy chief. And I just remember growing up, and being about 5 years old, because she got on in 1984 and I was about 5 years old at that time.
Yeah.
And, or sorry, 4 years old. And I just remember her coming over to my house and just having conversations with my mother at the time. And being 4 or 5 years old, not really understanding the complexity of what was being said. The thing with me that stuck out for me was just the excitement and joy that I remember seeing in her face when she talked about her career. And at that time, I only knew it was policing. So it's something that always kind of stuck with me. And we know growing up, it was either firefighter, police officer, or doctor. Never really had the grades for a doctor. Firefighting was not my thing just because fires aren't my thing. So the next best thing would have been a police officer. So it's kind of something that I stuck with throughout my childhood, and kind of always gearing myself towards that as I got older and had the opportunity in my early 20s to go for it. Went to Toronto first because I grew up in that area. But I wasn't successful with Toronto, but it was okay because the whole thing about it, you need to go where you fit in a sense. So Toronto was good, doing great things at the time. Just, I guess, me personally, I just didn't fit into the organization, but that was okay because I fitted perfectly into York, and I've been here for the last 21 years. So my why was literally just having a family member that was an officer and just seeing that the enjoyment and the love that she seemed like she had for the gig. And that's kind of resonated with me.
Very cool. That's cool. And thank you for also mentioning the fit as well too, because that's really important. And not sometimes it's not always a fit, right?
And that's it though.
Figure it
And
out.
and I always say, go where you're valued. And I said, Toronto's a great service, just didn't work out for me, but doesn't change anything with the service and doesn't mean anything for me. It's like, as I said, I went to York and got it my first time, and the rest is history.
Wow.
So once again, just go where you feel that you fit in, because you're not going to fit in everywhere, and that's okay. There's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Thank you, Emery. Thank
No,
you.
you're very welcome, man.
Just want to add one more thing.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, something wrong with my camera. Sorry, guys. If anybody wants to be, go to the policing, and if they don't get, they don't get it like Toronto, same thing. You guys can go to other cities and go from there.
Exactly.
Don't give up. That's what it means.
And my thing is, sir, and that's great advice, sir. And with my thing, as I said, anybody that is interested, go to your home services info session so you see what they have to offer, because they might have everything that you need. So then it makes it easy, because then you're giving back to your home community. But the best thing is to go and see, because maybe they have things that maybe you're not interested locally, but at least you have a base. You know what you want, you know what you don't want. So then when you're going to other organizations, you already know what you're looking for. Because to be honest, like, there's so much information. There's so many different services out there. And for the most part, we do policing, but our culture might be different. Understanding, just like as I said, for us, we're not the biggest service, but we're not the smallest. So we would have a big service or a big town mentality, whereas some other services might have a more smaller town mentality. And nothing's wrong with either of them. It's just, once again, fitting in where you need to fit in and going to the service that you will feel valued in. So great add in there, Sunil. Thank you very much. Right, so we'll go on now. And can we hear that?
So, didn't want that same old 9-to-5 job?
Little bit louder?
Right place.
I don't know if
That's okay.
Give me a sec, because I was trying to put it up and
Sure. I can hear it. Yep, for sure. Can you
but
hear
it
it?
is low, right?
I can
Yeah,
hear it. It's a little bit low, but
you can
I'm
still
good.
hear.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so
Okay, yeah, my apologies, guys. I was trying to get that
no,
situated.
but I can still hear it. Yeah, thanks,
Okay.
Jonathan. Thanks.
Sorry, guys.
It's
No,
a
all good. No
fast-paced
apologies.
job
Yep.
where no moment is exactly like the next.
You'll learn the importance of teamwork and to value the strength of community partnerships. At York Regional Police, your career will get rolling as a member of a platoon assigned to uniform patrol.
You'll serve on the streets of York Region, where you'll be the first on the scene of emergency calls and work alongside our partners at fire and paramedic services. In uniform patrol, it's important to keep your eyes and ears open at all times. You're responsible for keeping citizens safe where they live, work, and play.
You might patrol a neighborhood that's been the target of break and enters, respond to an assault at a high school, pull over an erratic driver, and arrest them for impaired driving.
One Bravo, I wanted to arrest repaired.
And that's all before lunch.
To prepare you to wear the badge, recruits spend 5 weeks learning the basics at York Regional Police before attending the Ontario Police College in Aylmer for 60 training days.
Then it's back to IRP for advanced training before hitting the road to spend 50 shifts under the guidance of a coach officer. For 5 years, officers hone their skills and abilities in uniform patrol, and many remain dedicated to this core policing function for their entire careers.
That said, York Regional Police has a host of specialized units and unique opportunities. Here are just a few.
York Regional Police has the third largest canine unit in Ontario. We have narcotics detection dogs, we have explosive detection dogs, cadaver, and gun and ammunition dogs. But all of our dogs are trained in general purpose. If anyone is interested in becoming a canine handler, the physical fitness aspect is quite demanding on the dog. It was definitely motivating the first time I tracked and did some canine work. As soon as I had a taste of that experience, I knew I was set at reaching that goal of being on canine.
In policing, we typically work as a team to get the job done. The air support unit, we're just one part of that team. You get that bird's eye view of a scene and you can see things that people on the ground wouldn't normally see.
About 5 feet, 4 feet, 3 feet, 2 feet, should be right there. Thank you. Thanks, appreciate it.
The thermal sensor is very good at night. It detects heat and hot objects. And it can paint that picture for the TFO at 1,000 feet in the air and see through darkness. In my opinion, being in the helicopter is the best seat in the house and it's the best office in your regional police.
With the PRU, we always look at people that are in good physical shape. Their altitude is high. Our primary mandate is to assist with calls such as hostage rescue. If there's calls that need explosive force entry, then we have our bomb techs for that. We do containment calls if the residence needs to be contained, high-risk search warrants, response to terrorism, and calls of that nature. It's definitely important for us to be close to the team. We're always working hand in hand. We're always right beside each other. You almost get to the point where you know what the other guys are thinking without even talking to them. Everybody's got that mentality on the team, and it's nice. It's not going to change. It's a good thing to have.
So come winter time, we typically go out on the snow machines and ATVs and patrol the lake, checking for fishermen as well as recreational users of the lake, and make sure they have all their documents and they're abiding by the laws. So what we have behind us is the airboat in Dewan. That's a Ojibwe for hunter. We usually deploy this machine to either rescue somebody that is crashed on a snow machine, fallen through the ice, or may have been in an accident and they can't make it ashore.
It happened within seconds. The ice breaking up around them, 26 souls, one only 12 years old, stranded. Powerful airboats rushed to the scene. Police had warned anglers the ice was too thin and to stay off.
The underwater recovery team is, we're utilized for recovery of any evidence in any body of water within York region. Most of our searches are in black water, which is basically you can't see anything in front of you.
My name is Detective Constable Alan Thor with York Regional Police. Welcome to the Forensic Identification Unit. We get involved with anything from robberies to home invasions, homicides, and many other the more major crimes. And I have to tell you that you have to think about a Lofgard's principle. So this dictates that when two objects they come into contact with another, each will leave something or take something away from the other. So there's always trace evidence. We're going to find it.
A world of opportunities awaits you at York Regional Police. Apply today and find your calling.
All right.
Wow.
So moving right along. So as you can see here, as I said, this is, we'll talk a little bit about the corporate side of York Regional Police. As you can see, our vision is to make a difference in our community. It is words, but I can tell you, as I said in the beginning, I have been working on the community services side for the last 21 years. And although it's words, I can tell you that we put that type of stuff into action. I personally do, humbly speaking. And I know a lot of my colleagues as well, because we truly believe in what we say. And the values we like to say, we have 5 values in York Regional Police. As I said, professionalism being one of them, compassion, fairness, courage, and respect. Very important, obviously, but it's also very important for the interview stage because we do have a values-based interview. Wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. So we have 5 beautiful values that might or do go hand in hand with our values-based interview that you will be exposed to when you do apply with York Regional Police. And last but not least, a lot of different services have different models or different mantras. You would have always, a lot of you would have seen to serve and protect. Here in York Regional Police, ours is deeds speak, and literally it just amounts to actions speak louder than words. Okay. So just some of the advantages here at York Regional Police, we have many, and I'll go quickly into them. One of them without fail is going to be the benefits, but understand that as an organization here in Ontario, many services have the same benefits. So that wouldn't be the selling point per se, just because I said it is a standard. And vacation would be similar too, just because it's provincially mandated, part of the Employment Act as well. But some things do change when it comes to things like this, like the educational benefit. So as an organization, we understand that education and learning is lifelong. It's not just you do it when you're in high school and college and then you kind of forget about it type thing. We understand the importance of life. Hey, how you doing, my friend? We understand the importance of lifelong education. So here at York Regional Police, regardless of what you're looking to do post-secondary, we would like for it to coincide with your current position, whatever that position may be. But we will give you up to $7,500 for you to go back to school, to go back to to go back to college, university, anything like that. You can get up to $7,500 to use towards your education. Another thing as well, which is something that's very important that we hold near and dear, is the training. Because understanding that policing is at times can be a very difficult job. As I said, for me, as long as I've been on, I've had some trials and tribulations, but for the majority of it, it's been a truly, truly great job. And I attribute that to the training that we would have gotten in the beginning and ongoing. Right. And this is one thing that as an organization, humbly speaking, we're very proud of. Technology is something that we hold near and dear to our heart because we understand, once again, as an organization, that the people in which we police are very technologically advanced. So we need to be, if not the same, at that same level. So it's something that we do. As you can see here, we know them as cell phones, but organizationally, they're called handheld communication devices. So still cell phone, but it's just a more technological term. And one of the things that we like to say to the members of the public when we're out and about, we no longer use physical notebooks. We use electronic notes. So if you do see us at a scene and we're collecting information and it looks like we're on a cell phone, we are on a cell phone, but we're not texting or anything like that. We're literally recording the details. So that's just one thing that we like to mention as well. Another thing is our fleet and our equipment. When it comes to that, that is something that we spare no expense on, because we understand that if the equipment you have is good, works well, and it's brand new, you're going to feel you'll take ownership of it because you'll know that your service is thinking about your best interest because they're giving you things that are brand new. Understanding that some organizations might have some financial restraints, no shade on those organizations, but just here in York Regional Police, we don't have those specific issues. So we spend the money where we need to, and that's on equipment, that's for training, that's for mental health aspect, and all those other things to ensure that we are supporting our members when they're out there doing the work, both on the sworn side, which is police officer like in uniform, and civilian side. And when it comes to the shifts, flexible, I think they might need to create a new word for how flexible we are as an organization. It hasn't always been that way. But once again, we as a large organization have learned the importance of obviously giving individuals flexibility and assisting them with that, because we talk about the work-life balance. So it's one thing to talk about it, we want to ensure that we're providing that work-life balance. So we have the standard shift of 12-hour shifts, and that's 4 days on, 4 days off, 2 days, 2 nights, and it goes from anywhere from 6 to 6, 7 to 7. We have a 5 to 5. We also have a 3 to 3 shift, and I believe we have a 12 to 12 shift. And then we have other shifts, depending on the unit that you're in, that go from Monday to Friday, and those are usually 5/8s. And then we have some other units that are on modified schedules where they do 4/10s. So they always work Monday to Thursday or Tuesday to Friday, and those are 10-hour shifts. So we literally have something for everybody. So if you're an individual that's kind of worried about potentially not having a schedule or being a part of an organization that doesn't suit your needs, your personal needs, I can tell you and I can assure you that York Regional Police is doing that. Case in point, and once again, I have young kids. And when it comes to time off, like, it's not always easy just because the organization has needs, but it hasn't been difficult. As long as you give the advance notice, you have the time, there's no issues in you taking it off.
Thank you for underscoring that, Emery, that mental health aspect. That's really
It's
what we
huge.
focus on.
Yeah, you're very
for
welcome.
sure.
It's massive, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
It's something as an organization, as I said, for me, and thank you very much. For me, as I said, being on as long as I've been on, I've seen the shift. And I said, I have younger kids. My kids are 11 and I have a 6-year-old. So when I first got on, I remember talking about paternity leave with my 11-year-old, and it wasn't really a thing. But then when I had my 6-year-old, it became a thing. And now you see so many individuals who probably wouldn't have been taking paternity leave in the past for whatever reason are now doing so and putting the family first, and the organization supports it. So it's just a great thing all around. Okay, and just once again, some of the things, corporately speaking, you can see that we're two of the most important things. Obviously, a lot of them are important, but two of the most important things that I kind of hold near and dear to my heart is when you see here Greater Toronto's top employer for 2025. And the most important one is you could see for last year, and I believe this year as well, we're the top employer for young people. And that's a good thing, because as an organization, as large as we are, we understand that planting the seed and the importance of reaching out to the younger generation, that and the older generation, just because they're all important. So when it comes to recruiting, obviously we have minimum ages that we have to abide by because it is by law, but we have no maximum age. The minimum age, and I'll get into it in more detail, is 18. And as I said, once again, there's no maximum age. We just require that you're mentally and physically able to do the tasks and outlined for the job. And once you can do that, it doesn't matter of the age going forward. And you can see some of the other things that we're a part of here. One of the things, as I said, is we have internal support networks, and that's called ISN. It's for me, as I said, like, having that as an organization, it's so important. We have one for individuals who've been afflicted by cancer. We have individuals who have been affected by situations where they're caring for parents or for spouses or for children. We have ones for culturally and religious individuals. Like, we have something for everybody. And the good thing about this is you join an ISN where you feel that you fit in. You don't have to be a part of the community to be accepted. And that's one of the great things as well. We have a Pride ISN as well. So we have something for everybody. And it's just for you to have a voice in the organization, so the organization knows that you're being heard and has an outlet or a way for us to communicate as an organization, to communicate with our members. And so as I said earlier, we have, and this, you can see here, we have many different units. It's like, if you were to look at it, this would be the umbrellas. And beneath each and every one of these tabs, there's units within units. So once again, that's one of the great things about an organization as large as ours. You literally have something for everybody. And as I said, for me, understanding, as I said in the beginning, that investigations are very important just wasn't my thing. I was able to fit in right out the gates into the community services side of things. And I've been doing that ever since. And I've truly loving it. And now I'm in the recruiting unit, obviously very different mandate, but similar in regards to us engaging the public. So once again, something for everybody. And although a lot of these specialty units, people would think that they're for sworn members or officers, it's not true. For civilian members as well, As I said, like they're very important and integral piece of our organization and not often spoken about or talked about, but they're very crucial, very important in our organization as well. So for any individuals who are out there interested in policing, but maybe not in the uniform aspect, we have something for you as well. Just please reach out and I can get you in contact with the individuals that are on that side of the house.
Amazing. Thank you.
No problem, man. So we'll go into some, do we have any questions before we go further?
Thank you for checking, Emery. Anyone
No
here?
problem, my dear. So we're just going to be going to the minimum requirements, how to apply in the recruitment process. So some of the minimum requirements, as I said, a lot of the minimum requirements are all on our website. It's going to be wiredp.ca and it would be /join us. And you can get all the details and information there, but I'll go into some of the details here. So despite what a lot of people think, you do not technically need university or college. You definitely need your high school diploma, but understand that it is a very competitive process. So you want to set yourself up for success. So if you having university, college, or whatever the case is going to allow you to be successful, then you do so. But it's not something that you need per se, but once again, you do need high school. Okay. And another thing too is, we have a lot of individuals, switched on individuals who have hailed from different parts of the world who can bring a wealth of knowledge and experience and things like that to the organization. And we're very mindful and we understand it's just due to some, I guess, restrictions that you would have to be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident for now. Okay, so those are just some of the things, as I said, requirement-wise that you do need. And some of the things in regards to requirements can be discussed, but certain things are hard stops. So you have to have your high school, you have to be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. And as we get to the next part, you have to be 18 years of age. And once again, minimum, no maximum age. If you can do the job physically and mentally do the job and you're 60 years old, who are we to tell you not? That you're not capable, that you're not eligible? You can do so. It's just that you have to be at least an adult. And in Ontario and in Canada, it's 18 years of age. Sorry, in Canada, 18 years of age. And then another thing too is you have to have your G license, okay? G license, and you can have no more than 6 demerit points. So a lot of individuals think that you start out with points, but no, you don't start out with points. Points are accumulated. So if you have 7 points per se, you wouldn't be eligible with us at that time until you went to court and got that dealt with. But anything other than that, as I said, we always say, let the process dictate your success and nobody else. Okay.
That's a good one.
And as well, no criminal convictions without a pardon. So there's going to be some offenses that would be a non-starter. So any serious offense, any serious assault, sexual assaults, obviously homicides, serious things, serious of that nature, it would be a non-starter. Even you wouldn't even be given a pardon for certain things, but minor convictions, maybe theft, things like that, with a pardon, you'll be eligible to apply with us. Okay, and if I always tell individuals, like if there's ever any questions or concerns or anything, reach out to the recruiting unit of a respective service. Like obviously the officers on the road would be more than happy to assist you, provide the info. It's just that they're not experts in the recruiting field. So our thing is go to the experts. And when it comes to recruiting, because I said, we just want to ensure that you have the accurate information, because what we know and what we've seen happen in the past with officers are very helpful and want to give information, but the information that they are providing might be a little outdated, because for a lot of them, they've been through the process years ago when things would have changed. Okay, so it's always best you take what they say, and obviously, but always reach out to the recruiting unit to get the accurate and up-to-date information. Okay, and then as I said, you'll need the Ontario Association Chiefs of Police certificate. I'll go into a little bit more detail with that in the slide. And that's going to be a third-party organization. And you can find that if you just Google OACP, you can find the website and it provides you with all the information that you will need to get that certificate. It is $250. It is good for a year. It's not a pass or a fail, it's more of an assessment. Okay, but any information on that, it's best to go onto the website and read all about it, because they have a frequently asked section and all that type of stuff. And then coupled with that would be, you would have to meet vision and hearing standards. And I'm no medical practitioner, so when it comes to this stuff, I would say it's best to talk to your doctor or a medical practitioner. But what I can say in regards to the vision, for it to be corrective surgery, it has to be 20/40, and uncorrected, it would have to be 20/20. Okay, And then for hearing, as I said, yeah, for hearing, as talk to your doctor if there's any issues with that. But we know we get a lot of questions in regards to individuals, in regards to the vision part, who are afflicted by, they would have the condition of being colorblind. So when it comes to that, once again, I'm no medical practitioner, but from what I've heard, there's no correction for that yet. But if there's anything else, there's always LASIK surgery, but that would be something you, once again, would speak with your doctor about. Okay?
And then Anne-Marie, so if someone is colorblind, would they be able to pursue?
No, ma'am.
No, sorry, that's what I
No.
heard.
Yeah, sorry. So no, you wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
to continue. And as I said, as of now, I don't think that there's any sort of corrective surgeries or anything like that yet.
I see.
But yeah, so that's the only thing that would kind of take you out of the game if you're colorblind.
Okay, but they could find another role within the organization, perhaps.
Most definitely, just not,
Yeah.
So that would be fall, and thank you for bringing that up, Lane. That would fall under our civilian side of the house, which is robust, tons of opportunities. The individuals on that side of the house are doing great work. I can attest to that. Okay. And then first aid. So the thing with the first aid, just make sure that when you do get first aid, that it has the designation of the level C or higher, because anything other than that you wouldn't be eligible and wouldn't be the correct thing that we're looking for. And as I said, in regards to places to go and get this done, we know St. John Ambulance is one of the places, some local university, colleges. So just make sure that the organization is accredited before you sign up with them, okay? And so here we talked about the physical and mental ability to perform the duty. So that just goes hand in hand with with regards to the age restrictions. Once again, there are no age restrictions. We just require that you are an adult, and here in Canada, that is 18. No maximum though. So once again, if you're a 70-year-old individual, I would love to see a 70 individual come through the process. That would be great. But once again, I said I haven't, in the time I've been on, seen too many of 70 individuals get onto the job. But on a serious note, that if you can do the job physically and mentally, understand what you're potentially going to be involved in, and you're okay with it and you can do it, we will not stop you. We will not stop you. Okay. And last but not least, obviously we want individuals who are a good moral character. And at one point in time, we always used to say that we're looking for the perfect person. We've changed our language because we understand that nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I am for sure not perfect. I'm a human being. I'm flawed. So we changed the language to say we're looking for the best or the most suitable individual, understanding that once again, people have made mistakes and we're okay with that. We're an organization, a large organization that understands nobody's perfect. We don't want perfect individuals because perfect means that you haven't experienced life. We want individuals that have experienced life, regardless of the stage. If you've just come out of high school, just come out of university, there's a place for you. If you're somebody who's on maybe your second or third job and you're an individual who has a family, kids who are grown, there's a spot for you as well. All right. So as I said, there's something for everybody. We just want to make sure that you have good moral character, you understand what the job's going to entail, and you meet the minimum requirements.
And there's a lot to be said for overcoming adversity, those skills
Most
that are
definitely.
required to be able to do that, right? Yeah.
Most definitely.
Thank you.
And I thank you for bringing that up, Lynn. My thing is what I've been seeing a lot is that a lot of individuals are ready, they're there, but they're in their heads. Like mindset is a powerful thing on the positive side and on the negative side. Because positively speaking, your mind's going to say you got this and you're going to believe it. But on the other end, your mind could be telling you you don't have what it takes, you're not ready for it, this, that, and the other, and you're going to believe your mind. But just understand that a lot of times all it takes is for you just to educate yourself and to get the correct information and process that information. And the only way you can do that is by attending things like this, coming out to our information session and reaching out to us anytime that you see us just to get a better understanding of the job. And that's one way you can come over the adversity and come over and overcome the mindset that's kind of keeping you down. Because another thing is that if you do get that, if you are able to get out of your head and to move forward in the process, and God forbid you're unsuccessful, it's okay because you tried. But if you never try, you will never be successful. You will always be unsuccessful. So I like the odds of putting my name into the hat, putting my best foot forward, and seeing, once again, allowing the process to dictate my success and not my mindset. Okay.
Thank you. And I'm just reminding our viewers and listeners that you're here with Youth for Change Canada, Youth Connections Café, and we have an amazing guest speaker speaking with us today, Anne-Marie Watkis from York Regional Police Recruiting.
Lynn, I'm going to say you're amazing. You're awesome. But I thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so as I said, this is the certificate. It is $250. It is valid for 1 year. So my thing when it comes to this, as I said, $250 is not a lot. It's not a little. It is a cost. As I said, in this day and age, we know that finances aren't as readily available as they used to be for a lot of individuals. So if you are interested in policing, just ensure that you're planning everything appropriately, because although a year is a long time, it will creep up on you quick enough if you're not planning and you're not out there. You know what I mean? If you're not out there doing what you need to do, because you might think that you get it and you're going to sit on it, but don't do that, because you're not able to dictate the process when it comes to the recruiting. Because we can move as an organization very quickly because the organizational needs require that, or we can kind of move a little slower, once again, because the organizational needs require that. So the best thing for you is just to plan appropriately to ensure that you give yourself as much time as you need, because a year, once again, is a long time, but it can creep up on you once again. So the best bet for anybody that is interested, just to go and familiarize themselves with the OACP certificate, the website. I don't know the website off the top of my head, but a quick Google search would bring you to the appropriate website. And I said it has a wealth of information. It's not a pass or fail, it's just an assessment for you, for us as an organization to kind of see where you stand. And then you just take it from there. Okay? Any questions, any concerns, any feedback about this?
Let's see, Jennifer.
I had a question that goes back to a little bit earlier.
Okay.
I know you said that we just need a high school education. Is there
Yep.
any specific units that do require a university or college level?
So units, no, but it would change when you become, like, if you were to come in as a civilian, it would be different on that side of the house. But in respect for units, no. It wouldn't hinder you, but it wouldn't be an overall advantage per se, if that makes any sense, Jennifer.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So the good thing about policing, my friend, is like me, I always talk from a place of being humble and showing humility. The great thing about policing as an industry is that regardless of what you come to the table with, like my friend, you can come with 10 PhDs, and me, I can only come out I can come to the table with 1 high school diploma. And as a result of the way that policing is, day one, we're going to be on the exact same level. We're going to both be cadets in training. The fact that you have your PhDs and I have my 1 high school diploma is not going to come into play at that point in time. It wouldn't come into play until later on in our career. So right out the gates, everybody starts off at the exact same level. You're a cadet, you go to level 4, 3, 2, then 1. So initially it wouldn't be something that would hinder you, but it can definitely assist you in moving along later on in the organization, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much.
Okay, no, thank you very much, Jennifer, for asking. Right. So volunteer work. So at one point in time, we used to, as an organization, say that if you had no volunteering work, we wouldn't be interested per se, because we wanted to ensure that you knew what it felt like to give back to the community. And obviously times have changed. So obviously times have changed, but the free time that people have has also changed. So our thing is, as long as you're doing something constructive, whether it's work or school or volunteering, it's okay. We would like for you to have some sort of volunteering under your belt, but it's no longer something that is required. You understand? But you do have to have something. So if we ask, have you volunteered, and you say no, but I've been working, that's good. You just, once again, have to provide us with something. It couldn't be like, no, I haven't been volunteering or haven't been working. I've just been kind of chilling at home on the couch trying to figure life out, which is okay. Just for us, we want to know that you're doing something more than just kind of trying to figure out life. Okay? And so here now. So if any of the 2 ladies that have joined us as well, you guys haven't created any sort of profiles with YRP, right?
I haven't created any
Okay.
profile.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. So I'll just quickly go into here. So the good thing about our profile or our portal, that's something that it's a work in progress, but it's very intuitive in the sense of, you create that profile. We would be sending you emails, not frequently, every once in a while. And in those emails, what it would be, we would talk about any sort of new opportunities that were presented in regards to jobs. Like a lot of times, the special constable, I'll talk about that. The special constable posting comes up, and that is probably that and the auxiliary posting are probably one of the most sought after postings. So a lot of times we would post it and then within days, they would be closed just because we would have so much interest. So if you wanted to be somebody that was well-versed on all the upcoming job postings that we had, it would be in your best interest just to create that profile. And I said we would send it to you each time that something was available, we would send it out to you. And you would be well versed on that. And you would also need to create a profile if and when you were interested in applying with any one of the career paths with us. And also understand that you create a profile and you apply, let's say for policing, and you're unsuccessful for whatever reason, and the special constable posting is available, you can apply for that. You can use the same profile. Obviously, there might be some things that you need to add to the special constable that would be specific for that, but you can use the exact same profile and apply to multiple different jobs. Okay. And just one thing as well. So there are a lot of times, nine times out of 10, if you aren't successful, we would definitely reach out to you and let you know. But there is the off chance that just because we're so busy, we're not able to advise you. Understand that you can always reach out to us and ask for feedback to find out where you fall in the process. But if it is beyond a year, just know that the application most likely would be closed and you would have to start a new one. So if it goes beyond a year, it's most likely going to be that your application is no longer valid and you're going to have to start up a new one. But if it's within a year, you can always reach out to us and ask us any sort of follow-up questions, and we'd be more than happy to assist with that. Okay. And as you can see here, it's very straightforward in regards to how to apply. You just would create the profile. It will take you through a couple of steps. And then once the profile has been created, you can then see the jobs and things like that that are available. And you don't have to create a profile. It's just better to create a profile so you can get up-to-date information about our postings and things like that. And there's just some other information on the profile as well, how to create it.
In terms,
And also, sorry, what's that, ma'am?
I was just going to ask about if you were interested in volunteering with York Region Police Service, how would you go about that? And like what kind of options do they have?
That is a great question. Jennifer, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So so in regards to opportunities, off the top of my head, there would be 3 different paths. So we have the auxiliary path, which is one of our career paths, and it is probably one of the best volunteer programs out there because it gives you the best of both worlds, gives you the best of being in uniform and understanding what that would feel like. And it also gives you the opportunity to get volunteer hours and to give back all in one. So you have that, and I can provide that information as well. And we're going to talk about that. There is also for adults who are interested in volunteering, but maybe not as an auxiliary. I can provide that as well. And if you wanted to email me, I can give you my email address and then we can do that. Or we have, if you're a youth and you're looking to volunteer. So we have a couple different avenues. I could definitely provide that to Lynn, and then she can give that to the group. But yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, my friend is a auxiliary officer with Toronto Police Service, and he loves it. Yeah.
Okay, so you know a little bit about it then, I assume, right, Jennifer?
Yeah, I know a little bit.
Okay, but it is, so I always say for individuals who are interested in policing, that probably is the best course of action, because for me, I get asked a lot by individuals, like they'll say, "Hey, Amari, what is it like to be an officer?" And to me, that's a great question, but my response has no bearing on the individual. So I'm obviously, I share the information, but I try to get them to ask different questions. I try to say specifically for you, Jen, let's say you being a female, I would say, ask questions about like, that would resonate with you. Like, what does it look like when it comes to females on the job? Like something like that, something that would actually truly be meaningful to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, because I can say for me, like me saying that the job is great, that I've had an amazing time for the last 21 years, what does that really mean to you or to anybody asking? So once again, it's a great question, but I try to get them to probe a little bit deeper and to ask a little bit, ask questions that have more bearing or that resonate more with the individual.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, my friend. Okay, so applying to York now, we'll just go quickly into some of the details here. So obviously, as I said, you create your career profile. That's going to be the very first thing that you do once you've established that you are interested to apply with York Regional Police. You're going to create that profile. You're going to provide all the information. So, and you see here, it says employment info. And I say this, understanding that some individuals would have done a lot of, would have an extensive employment history. So it might be a little difficult to call upon the info, but just understanding that if you're applying for a policing career, investigations or research are going to be something that go hand in hand with our profession. So if it's a job that you've done 5 years ago, it's going to be incumbent on you to find that info. It's obviously one thing if the person is no longer there, that's one thing. But we would need for you to find as much information as possible, because we just want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence, and not saying that we don't trust individuals' word, but we just want to make sure that everything is above board, because we have had times where information wasn't provided, and when we did get a hold of it and we reached out to do our reference checks, we find out that there was a reason why the information wasn't provided. Like the individual might have been fired, or there might have been something untoward that happened on the job and they didn't want to share that. But then that's when integrity comes into play. And understand that integrity is throughout the whole interview and the constable selection process. Okay, so once again, just try your hardest to find out all the information that you can. Education as well, your volunteer details. So with everything here, just if you're providing it, do your due diligence and you try your hardest to find out the information, whether or not it's a contact name or anything like that, because it wouldn't be enough for you to say that you work somewhere in the last 2 years, but you don't remember any details. Okay. And obviously this goes without saying, review your information, review your documents that you're submitting. As I said, because once again, we all understand that nobody's perfect. But when it comes to you advocating and for you putting your best foot forward and understanding how competitive the process is, you'll be doing yourself a huge disservice if you weren't checking over your documents, if you weren't getting a second set of eyes on it. All right, so that's just some of the things that we're saying here. So in regards to, like I said, review your list, attach all the supporting documents, and basically just follow all the instructions and the directions that are being asked of you. And if along the way, there's any sort of questions, feedback, or any sort of information that you might need, you can see that there's a phone number that we have on that slide, and we have the email address as well, and I'll be providing my info as well. So all you need to do is just drop us a quick email or phone call, and we'll be more than happy to assist. And last but not least, in regards to applying to York, please ensure that your profile is always up to date at all times. And what that means is, let's say that you've submitted all of your supporting documentation, and you decide last minute that, you know what, I'm going to go for that certificate course, and you're successful, please, once it is completed, just to update your profile by adding that information. And that's all we mean by just keeping everything up to date. If you started a new job while you're in the process, up to date. If you left the job, just up to date, like just go into the profile and make sure that it's up to date. And if you need to advise us, do that as well, just so we know that everything is accurate. And when we do decide to move forward, we're not waiting for anything. Okay.
And ideally, you would like everyone to be successful. So having that second pair of eyes.
And that's it, though. And despite what a lot of people think, my friend, and thank you very much, Lynn, for bringing that up, we want you to be successful, but understand that we can't and won't do the heavy lifting for you. We can't. We want you to do the heavy lifting in the sense of doing the research, getting the documents in order, and we'll do everything on our end to ensure that you are successful in any way that we can. And that's through mentorship, that's through information sessions, that's through answering questions, that's just being available for individuals for whatever they may need and whenever they may need it. Because a lot of times people will think that they have everything down pat, and then when it comes to the process, they're like, wait a second, I thought about this, I might need to have information on that. And as I said, we're always here, ready, available to answer any sort of questions that they may have. Okay, as you can see here, we have 3 types of constables. As I said, obviously police constable, and you can see here some of the things that we do as police officers. Special constable as well. That's a newer thing. Special constables are considered court officers, and we have newer ones who are in the community, and they're called community support officers. It's a great career path. This career path is so good. A lot of times you have individuals who want to be police officers would go to the interview, but maybe there was just something that they might be missing in that respect, and they've been told that they should go for the special constable career path, get into it, and never want to leave. So, and it's highly competitive. So if there is any individuals who are interested in that career path out there, please feel free to reach out to me, or just sign up, create the profile, and then you'll be sent all the updates in regards to that career path. Okay, and last but not least, I had mentioned auxiliary, and that's, once again, this is a great career path. And the thing with this one, it's for individuals who are interested in police and just don't have that connection, maybe don't have that family member, and maybe have never experienced it, for them to experience it for themselves, and for them to process it on their own. And you can see here, it is a volunteer capacity, but you are trained in defensive tactics. They do train you we do as an organization train you with our firearms as well. You don't carry your firearm, but you're trained. They do train you with the vehicle operations as well. So it's a great program. And it is 100, you are required to complete 144 hours a year, which works out to be about 12 hours a month. And we used to say for individuals who were interested in policing and maybe went in the auxiliary route first, before we used to say that they had to complete at least 6 months. Now we just say you have to complete your 144 hours. So if you want to get the 144 hours done as quickly as possible, that's on you. And there's more than ample opportunities to do that. Once that is completed, you can then apply, and then we would definitely start the process with you at that point in time. So you no longer have to wait 6 months. You just have to complete the 144 hours.
That's great. Wow.
And the thing with this program as well, Lynn, like we have tons of individuals who have come out from this program, so much so that we're hiring for the auxiliary position. It's a great pool that we utilize for special constable and the police constable career path. So, and the good thing about it, you get to see what the organization is from the inside, and you get to see it as the individual, not somebody telling you all the great things about the organization, all that stuff, but you get to see firsthand what the culture is, and if it resonates with you, what our values are, what our morals are, and all that good stuff. And if we fit, and I'm sure we will, you continue and you move up. And if you're looking for something else, at the end of the day, the auxiliary constable career path looks great on a resume for any sort of thing in the private industry or in the public industry.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem, man. Okay, we'll go into a little bit more detail with the recruitment process. So understand that the recruitment process for police, special constable, and auxiliary is similar for the most part. There's going to be some different requirements when it comes to the physical aspect, whereas police officer, obviously there's a physical component, and for special constable, there's also a physical component, which is modified, but for auxiliary, there's no physical component. So okay, but as you can see here, for the first part of the path is you apply, and that's you setting up the profile. And as I said, all the information that I'm saying here is located on our corporate website, yrp.ca. You go under the careers tab, and it has all this information. So if I'm saying things and you might have missed it, just understand that you can go on our website and just read all this stuff there and help you understand a little bit better. Okay, and then the second thing is there is a test, and that's the physical test. So we do the physical test, and that's the shuttle run. We do that right out the gates. And and that's also done around the same time as we do the pre-background questionnaire. So the pre-background questionnaire, or the PBQ, we introduce it to you. It's comprehensive in the sense that it talks about the personal side of you. So it wants to know your drug habit, if you have one. It wants to know whether or not, if you're a drinker. It wants to know how your social life is. Wants to know social media. Wants to know about your relationships. And at that point in time, we don't go into it in any great detail. It's just, we give it to you, you fill it out, and it's going to be utilized at a later point, and I'll discuss that then. And then you do the prep test. The prep test is it has a component of the shuttle run and the obstacle course. The obstacle course is going to be done at a later stage, but the shuttle run is done right out the gates, as I said. So when you do apply, you'll be called in for an interview, and before that, you'll do before an interview, you'll be called in to complete the pre-background questionnaire, or the PBQ, and the prep. You're successful with that, then you most likely will move along to the values-based interview and the psychological assessment. So as I said, we have 5 values, and we do have a values-based interview. And for the values-based interview, you just have to exemplify the 5 values. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what the questions are, but it's not going to be like, tell us about a time you're professional. It's going to be a little bit more in depth and a little bit more involved, but it's going to be around our 5 values. And for the psychological assessment, it's done with a psychologist at the end. it is comprehensive as well. And we just say for that, just be very honest and understand that it's designed to detect deception. So don't try to defeat it. Just be honest. The question that you're being asked, don't read into it. You literally just answer the question that's being asked. Like it might ask you, do you love your parents? It's not asking you how you love your parents or why do you love your parents. It's yes or no question. So you just answer yes or no. Okay. And then last but not least, when it comes to that, comes to the constable process, there's a comprehensive background investigation and conditional job offer if successful. So now is when we get into the meat and potatoes, where we look over your pre-BQ to make sure that things that you said in the beginning are true at the time that we're looking at it. We also are going to reach out to your references. We ask for about 9 references, 3 professional, 3 personal, and then we look for 3 educational ones. And then even we'll ask for 3 random ones as well. So we need 9, but then we might ask for 12 depending on the circumstances. Okay. And then it said you'll know when the appropriate time to let individuals know who are going to potentially be your references, whether or not police will be calling. You'll have enough time to do that. And also understand we as an organization know that you might have some individuals who haven't notified their respective in jobs that they're currently in that they're looking elsewhere. So we're okay with that. And we can, and the process is designed to where we leave reaching out to your employer to the last possible stage when it looks like we know what we're going to be doing with you. So if we're not too sure, it will come up well in advance before the background stage. So a lot of times if you reach the background stage where we're calling references, 9 times out of 10 or 90% of the time, the conditional job offer is going to be right behind there. Okay, so there's no worry on prematurely letting your company know or whatever the case is. We're very respectful of that, and as I said, that's why we leave it till the end, the most possible last period in the recruitment process. Okay, any questions, concerns, or feedback in that respect?
Not from me, thank you.
No problem.
Maybe do you have any questions at all? I think if you do, you would probably say, but I'll just put that out there for a moment.
No, everything is good.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, no problem. I just want to make sure you guys that there's no questions. And once again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to stop me. I have no issues with that at all. And now it is 5 o'clock. And as I said, we are more than halfway through. So just bear with me. And as I said, hopefully it wouldn't be too much longer. Okay. So once again, applying to York as a police constable, I had mentioned to you that we are going to go over the pre-background questionnaire. And as you can see here, it's good. We're going to look into the educational and employment history and your habits. We're going to look at your driving history. We're going to look at whether or not you had any convictions around driving, any collisions, any suspensions. And once again, we're going to look at drug use, alcohol, cannabis, and drug use, as I said. We're going to look at your internet and social media habits. So when it comes to internet and social media, a lot of individuals think that when you come into the interview, you have to give your phone over to us and we're just going to go scrolling through your phone. No, we don't do it like that. What we do want, but we definitely are going to check your social media because we just want to ensure that an individual that we are looking to hire, and maybe there's a better term I could have chosen, but I would say controversial. Just because understanding that when you do wear the York Regional Police uniform, you're part of a large organization, and we want individuals who are open-minded. Understanding that people are entitled to their feelings and lack of a better term, their feelings and their mindset. But when it comes to working with us, we just want to ensure that we have individuals who are open-minded and think about the greater good of society and wanting to do good things in society, and that's it. So if you have individuals who are very political, once again, organizationally speaking, it probably wouldn't be the best. Personally, it's on you, but just organizationally. So long and short of it, just be mindful of your social media usage. And if it's private, that's one thing. And another thing that we kind of say is like, if you can create a system or create a process where you limit individuals who can tag you, because that's another thing as well, because you have no control over that. So let's say somebody's tagging you in something that's controversial, it's now kind of speaking for you when it might not be something that you're a part of or interested in. Okay, so that's all it is when it comes to that. And then your credit history, we just want to ensure as an organization that when it comes to your responsibilities in that front, that things are taken care of. All right. Once again, we know that people have financial issues, and that's one thing, but we just want to ensure that things are being done to take care of any sort of issues. And last but not least, criminal behavior and associations. We're going to look into that as well. So we're going to ask you questions like, if are you associated with any known criminals? And you're just going to have to be honest. Okay, because understand that lying is obviously a no-go, but lying through omission is also a no-go. And lying through omission is basically not saying something when you know the truth about something. So you might not bring something up thinking that we might not know about it, but maybe that might have been an opportunity for you to show that you're a person with integrity and bring it up even though we didn't ask about it. Okay, and then looking at the prep test.
One quick question, Maria.
Yes, ma'am.
If somebody, thank you, if somebody had an issues, things that they had to overcome when they were a teenager, but they really, really want to go through this process. So maybe they have juvenile offender, perhaps. And does that come into play in the interview process for anybody that's listening and tuning in?
So it would be a case-by-case basis, would be my best answer to that. So in the beginning, I said, Lynn, that there's going to be some offenses that are a non-starter, but then there's going to be some offenses that individuals could have been charged with back in the day, and they would have received a pardon. So once again, it would be a case-by-case basis. And we always say time and distance. So if you're somebody who's like 36 years old and you were involved in something when you were 16, that's a long time ago. That's 20 years. And as long as you can show that you've changed, once again, we're not looking for perfect. We're looking for the best and the most suitable.
Thank you.
So hopefully that was able to answer your question, and you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, and then moving right along. So when it comes to the pursuit and restraint circuit, so understand that for the obstacle course, it's just to simulate a quote unquote a day in the life of a potential officer if he or she had to go out there and potentially chase a suspect, climb over fences, go under, I don't know what you'll be going under, but going under different things, running up a set of stairs. And it's just to simulate it just to simulate that. And we want to see that you're somebody who has endurance and the stamina to complete it. So to be successful on the obstacle course, you have to get no more than 2 minutes and 37 seconds. And for the shuttle run as I said, a lot of individuals, we used to lose a lot of individuals on the shuttle run. So we have it in the beginning to give individuals as much opportunity as they need to get comfortable with running the shuttle run. So the shuttle run, you have to attain a level 7. And we always say when you are training to attain a level 8. And if you're somebody who's interested in applying and fitness might not be where you want it to be at, if you're a female, we have female only boot camps, and I can provide that info. And for our males, if you're interested, we don't have directed boot camps, but we do have Run with a Recruiter series that we hold every Tuesday. And once again, I can provide that info. You can get information about that by following us on YRP Recruiting, and it's always up to date. Or you can go on our website, and we have information about that as well. And then when it comes to the shuttle run now, it's the equivalent of running between 2 telephone poles. So it's about 20 meters, and you're running between these about 4 times, and that would be half a stage. And as you go through the process of running, it's done by a beep, so it's an audible sound. The sound starts increasing, getting quicker. So you go from a saunter to a jog to a full out, almost like a full out run. Okay, so it's just to, once again, to prepare yourself for that. And a lot of times when it comes to the physical aspect, although you'll need to have some sort of physical prowess, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be technique. So we always say, if you're not too well versed or you're in your head, come out to one of our sessions. If you're a female, come out to the, you can always reach out to get information on the Fit for Prep bootcamp. Or if you're a male, just come out to one of our prep tests, one of our practice tests, so you can get well versed on this and once again, get the technique down pat. And once you have the technique, it makes completing it that much easier. Because a lot of times when it comes to us as males, when it comes to the obstacle course, we're trying to muscle through it, and it has nothing to do with muscling. It's literally technique. Okay, so once again, come out to one of those and we'll be more than happy to answer any sort of question, but it's for you to get your mind wrapped around what it is that you're supposed to do when it comes to these assessments. Okay. And then now, once again, as I said, it is a values-based interview. This is now the 3rd time I'm saying it. So once again, if you're interested, Just know our values, try to exemplify it by using different experiences in your life. And what I say is, and what we say as an organization, try to come up with 2 or 3 scenarios for each of our values, okay? And then when it comes to the psychological assessment, as you can see here, I don't recall off the top of my head how many questions there are, but I know when I did it back in the day, it was about 800 to 900. So it is a couple of hours. And once again, it's not something that you try to defeat. It's not something that you try to outsmart. It's literally you take the information that's being given and you answer the question that's being given. Do you like the color white? Yes or no? Do you love your parents? Yes or no? Okay, and that's all it is. And the thing about this what I forgot to mention, if you are for whatever reason unsuccessful in the physical assessment, you only have to wait a period of 3 months. But if you're unsuccessful for the psychological assessment, you do have to wait the period of a year, and you can't apply to any other service. Okay. And once again, for the background investigation that we said, it's going to be super comprehensive. And at that stage, you're going to meet with the psychologist, and they're going to do an assessment. And and also in the background stage, we're gonna put you through a PBO, which is a police vehicle operation assessment. And it's just gonna be like, it's not gonna be anything long and drawn out in regards to the assessment. We just want to see that you're able to handle the vehicle. We're going to check your references. We're also going to do a home and workplace visit. As I said, for those individuals who don't want their employers to know too early, that's going to be done on a case-by-case basis. You just let the recruiter know. I won't take that into consideration. Lastly, we do a medical assessment where you're sent to a physician, and they're going to test you they're going to do their test to make sure that everything is good on that front. And in this last stage there, you can see the conditional job offer. So you can see here, conditional offer is provided if a candidate is successful in the process. And you can see here just to the right of that in the red box, it says, and I'm going to read this verbatim. Candidates found to have lied or to have provided false statement, including lying by omission at any stage of the constable selection process with the York Regional Police will automatically be disqualified from further consideration or dismissed if already hired. So you can see that. So we always say, be honest, answer the question that's being asked. If it's, and just be honest. If you don't remember, that's different. And we understand that things can be forgotten. But if you are just saying you don't remember when you truly do, and we know this, you potentially can set yourself up for failure and see you do get on, but you weren't honest about something in the process, and we find out, you could be dismissed. So the best thing about it is just to be honest. It's better we find out and we discuss it than we find out on our own and it's a discussion at that point. Okay, because remember, at literally each stage of the constable selection process, of the special constable selection process, of any one of our processes, integrity is going to be the foundation of all of that. Okay. Any questions about the constable selection process as we move on to the special constable? Okay. So as you can see here, as I said, our processes are going to be very similar. So you're going to create the profile, you're going to complete your application, you're going to submit the file, then you're going to be called in to do the PBQ, the aptitude tests, and the fitness test. So as I said, the fitness test is going to be a little different. It's a modified PIN test. So where you're doing the obstacle course and the obstacle course and the shuttle run, with this you're doing, it's called the PIN test, and you're doing push-ups, you're doing sit-ups, and you're doing some other things that are modified from the so instead of you doing, as I said, the obstacle course where you're running around and it's simulating you out there and potentially chasing a suspect, it's going to be modified. I said, so you're going to be doing push-ups, you're going to be doing sit-ups, you're going to be doing some flexibility stuff and some stuff on the treadmill as well. So a little bit lower threshold, but still, you're going to have to, technique is going to be at the crux of that as well. And it's going to be a values-based interview and a psychological assessment, just like the policing one is. So the 5 values are going to come into play there. And last but not least, the background investigation is going to be in-depth and comprehensive, but some of the things are going to be different, and I'll go into the details in regards to that on the next slide. But as you can see here, yeah, the process is going to be similar, just not in depth. So for policing, a lot of times we get asked, how long does the policing process take? And the way we answer, we say it's a case-by-case basis, and it all depends on what an individual brings to the table. So if you're an individual who's worked at 10 different jobs, it's obviously going to take a little bit longer. If you're an individual who's worked at one job, it's going to be a different thing. But also, if you're an individual who has everything ready, loaded to go, so obviously we're going to move quicker. But if you're somebody who's kind of waiting for information or waiting to upload things, we're going to be waiting based on that. So once again, don't hit submit unless you're ready to move forward, because the organization has needs. So if, and it can easily be where we contact you and we'll be like, you know what, we're going to get things rolling and you need to be ready. Or it can be like, you know what, maybe a couple weeks in and then you hear things. So either way, just be ready to roll, because the organization has needs, and you need to be ready to move when that time comes. Okay, so as we said, so you can see here the background. So you can see we're going to do the psychological assessment. It's going to be done by a psychiatrist, psychologist as well, and that's going to be the same. And police vehicle operation is going to be similar as well. As I said, we want to see that you can handle a vehicle. References are going to be the same. We're going to do the home, and we're going to do the work visit as well. And just like for police constable, nothing changes if you're an individual who is successful moving along the process and you get to this stage. As I said, just you'll let us know earlier on enough that whether your wishes are to let your employer know, or you want to kind of keep it until the end. We'll work with you. Okay. And the medical assessment, as I said, is going to be similar as well, where you're going to go to a physician and they're going to put you through a battery of tests as well, check the blood, things like that. And the conditional officer is going to be provided if the candidate is successful. And even though it's not here, it goes without saying that lying through omission or being dishonest is going to be the exact same thing. Okay, so once again, if you don't know, we understand that you can't remember everything, but there's certain things that we know as an organization, and we know as recruiters, and we know as officers that you do know and that you should know. So, okay, so just be honest. That's all it is. Because I said we can work with you if you're honest, but if you're dishonest, it's a little bit harder to work with you, because then as recruiters, we start thinking everything is dishonest now when it comes to that specific candidate. Okay, and there's understanding that we all know we look to the media. We need individuals, once again, who are of good moral character. We don't want an individual who we had second guesses about or questioned in the interview stage and now are on the road. We can't have that. We don't want our members to be exposed to that. We don't want an organization, but more importantly, we don't want our community to have to deal with something like that. Okay, moving right along to the auxiliary. So auxiliary, as I said, is probably one of the most sought after and one of the most important units or career paths, I personally think, in our organization. They do some great work, great work. And as you can see here, once again, it's going to be 4 stages. The application stage is going to be the exact same. You're going to create the profile. You're going to make sure that the job is available for you to apply to. You're going to hit submit, and you're going to do all that. And now when you come to the pre-background questionnaire, you're going to see that we're going to do the background questionnaire just like we would have done the special constable one, and just like we would have done the policing one. But you can see here, there's no physical aspect. It's just a questionnaire, and that's it. So you're not required to do anything physical in to be an auxiliary. Just you're going to go through the application stage, testing stage, which is the PBQ, and then you're going to do, once again, you can see it here, that values-based interview, 5 values. You have to exemplify them. So once again, for this, nothing changes. Try to come up with a couple scenarios for each of the for each of the values. Okay, and then last but not least, you can see the background investigation is going to be done here as well. Just not as in-depth as a special constable and the policing one, but all the same, we're going to do the background investigation. We're gonna go over the PBQ to ensure that nothing has changed and everything is accurate. And as I said, in the background stage, we're just going to reach out to your references and ensure that, you know what I mean, we're doing our due diligence to reach out to individuals just to hear the great things that are being said about you by individuals that you would have worked with or influenced. Okay. So once again, you can see here for the auxiliary, it's just going to be for the background investigation. It's just going to entail, we're going to check your references, and we're also going to do home visits. So we're not going to do a workplace visit here. We're just going to do the home visit. So that is different from the auxiliary, from the special constable and the police constable career path. Okay.
What is entailed in the home visit, am I right?
So basically what it is, we come out to your home. We just want to see how you're living. We just want to make sure that, so for us is, we just want to know the type of person that we're hiring is somebody that we would want. So, we all know that your house kind of is that window into the type of person that you are. right? So that's all it is. So we'll come to the house. We're going to talk to maybe your neighbors if you're in an apartment building. We'll talk to the two neighbors that are to the left, to the right of you if you're in a house or whatever, same type of thing. Just going to come to the house, talk to anybody that's in there, if like mom, dad, siblings, anything of the sort. But most importantly, want to talk to your neighbors, and we just want to get an idea to see how you live.
Nice. Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's all it is. Okay, but no, great question. Great question. And moving along into the recruit levels. So you can see here level 1. There are 4 levels. Level 1 is going to be it's called the basic recruit level training. And first day you're gonna report to the York Regional Police training facility, and that's at 70 Bales, just in East Gwillimbury. And you're going to be with us for 4 weeks. And this is where we literally take you as a civilian and start exposing you to what policing is like, specifically at York Regional Police. So no stress, like you're gonna come in green, you're not gonna know a lot, but that's okay. We're here to teach you everything that you'll need to know. All right, and that is for 4 weeks. And then during the 4 weeks, some of the training includes, you can see here, it says, we're going to introduce you to the criminal code and other legislation, and understand that this is briefly, like we're not going to be going into in depth at this point in time. It's just kind of getting you familiar or exposing you to some of this stuff. Community engagement, because that's at the core of our organization and how we do things. So notebook writing, because once again, that's very important. As I said, anything, because when you're out there as an officer, you are always going to be recording details in your notebook, because you're going to want to recall on certain things. You know what I mean? To testify in court, you'll need to have notes. You know what I mean? And for defensive tactics is something else that you'll be exposed to on a weekly basis. Peer support, physical fitness, and the PIN test assessment as well. We'll do that. And that PIN test assessment, I would have mentioned it, and that's going to be the exact same thing that you would be exposed to if you were interested in the special constable career path. And the reason why we do that is because we want to ensure that all of the individuals that we have coming through the recruiting process are going to be fit and successful when they go to OPC. And OPC is Ontario Police College, and that's going to take us to level 2. So level 2 for the recruit training. This now has you, so after the 4 weeks with us, you're going to then be ready to partake in that. It's overall 13 weeks at OPC, but 3 of the weeks are going to be done virtually with us, us being York Regional Police, and it's going to be at our Training and Education Bureau for the 3 weeks, and everything's going to be done virtually on computers at that location. And after that, you're going to be sent to Elmer, which is just outside of London, Ontario, for a period of 10 weeks. All right, and you can see here, as was back on the 25th of April, 2023, the Ontario government, understanding the necessity and the need for more officers, removed the barrier of tuition. So when I got on, I said I've been on for 21 years. I remember paying about $6,000, but I remember even up until 2023, I believe tuition was about 15. So there is talk about them, I think after this year, removing that grant or removing that free tuition clause, and they might be charging tuition again. And I hear that it's going to be anywhere upwards about 18,000. So if you are interested in policing, now might be your time. Obviously, don't want to rush or pressure anybody, but if finances might be something that might be a hindrance, you might want to get in sooner than later, just because they are looking to remove that clause and make it where tuition is required again. Okay, but we're just not sure yet. But as an organization, we have reached out to the Ontario government to lobby them, to let them know that it's been such a great initiative having the free tuition that we would love for it to go further or to go longer. Okay. And understand that when you are at OPC, that we require that you get at least a 75 on all courses. It's required for you to be successful. Okay. And there's the little incentive that we have placed as an organization, where if you get 85% or higher at OPC or Ontario Police College, you'll be allowed to be reclassified 2 months earlier. So the way that reclassification works for us, so when you are in the recruit training, you'll be considered a recruit in training, or sorry, a cadet in training. So that's not even a level yet. So once you do go to OPC and you're successful and you get that 85%, when you do come back, you will then be, if you do get the 85, you'll then be reclassified 2 months earlier. So instead of you having to wait the 12 months, you only have to wait 10 months to then be reclassified to the third class constable. Okay? So it's just a little incentive. But organizationally, but OPC requirements, you need a 75 to pass. But with us as an organization, if you get 85 or higher, we give you a little incentive from us to show that we're very appreciative of you excelling to where you excelled and doing all the hard work that was required of you. Okay, level 3 now. So level 3 now is you're going to be back with us. So you would have been finished OPC, 3 weeks in our virtual class, 10 weeks at the college. It's going to be an experience for some of us who have not gone to university if you got to university or college is one thing, but if you've always gone home and never stayed on campus, it's going to be an eye-opening experience in that respect, because you are required to stay there Monday to Friday. If you live close enough and you're able to drive home and be back every day for 8 a.m., then you can do that. But a lot of times that's not the case for everybody. So you are required to be there Monday to Friday, and you are able to go home on the weekends. And yeah, so once you are back from the college, as I said, you're going to be in level 3, and we have you for a period of 8 weeks. And this is when we kind of start ramping things up. So you would have learned a lot by now, but we're going to start teaching you everything that is centric or that is specific to York. So we're going to be doing some scenario-based training, which is amazing, because the good thing about it, it's one thing to see things on screen. It's another thing to physically be a part of the training. It's a completely different thing. So once again, you see that great term there, community engagement. It's literally at every step of the game. It's something that we hold near and dear to our heart, because we go without saying that the community is very important. Report writing as well, because that's where a lot of officers fall down when it comes to report writing. Because it's one thing, as investigators, we're great. We can go out there and investigate like nobody's business. But then some of us, when it comes back now and recalling all those details, that's when it truly counts as well, because we're always told in an organization as police officers, you're only as good as your last report. Okay, so just that's one thing. And understand that in our world, it's not only 1 or 2 people that are going to be reading your report. It can be multiple individuals for multiple units at different ranks and different parts of your organization. So you want it to speak for you, and you want it to be your best work always. Because also when different units are looking for secondments or looking to give opportunities to officers or to civilians or whoever the case may be, they're going to look at your report writing. They're going to see the type of work that you've done. If you're somebody who pays close attention to that when you're writing reports, it's going to translate into your work ethic, and it's just going to allow you to be that much more successful. Peer support as well. Radio protocol. So we no longer use the 10 codes. We literally just use the words. So instead of us saying 10-6 or on scene, we'll just say on scene. Okay, and it's a lot easier that way. So once again, police vehicle training, we're going to be doing some police vehicle operations training, because at now this level, it's going to be a little bit more in depth. So it's no longer us. We're as an organization, we want to see that you can handle operating a vehicle. We want to see that you can handle operating a vehicle at the level you need to as a police officer now, because it's a little different. Okay, computer software orientation. Once again, as I mentioned in the beginning, that as an organization, technology is something that we're very, very, very big on. And we also know, just like you can even look to the world, like the world is technologically advanced. As an organization, we like to be that as well. So you are going to be exposed to some of our systems that we do use on a daily basis to further to further the work that we do as an organization. And as you can see here, we're also going to be doing as well physical fitness and pin test assessment as well. All right, so that's ingrained in each and every stage, because we want to ensure, once again, that we're hiring the most physically fit individuals, because we know the job can be physically demanding, and we want to ensure that individuals that we are training are both, once again, mentally fit and physically fit. Okay. And last but not least, when it comes to for level 3. So as you can see here, this is the graduation. And I can tell you, the graduation is it's one of the best feelings, because after all the hard work and dedication and effort that you would have put in to getting to this point, it all culminates into you being successful, because you got the job, but now you're an officer. Because when you are given your conditional offer, you're not a police officer, you're a cadet in training. So on this time, when you graduate at this point in time, and you can see here the formal graduation with our chief and the executive command team, or now known as the ELT. So this is when you know you get your badge, your family is there, your spouse, whoever, kids, whoever the cases are there to celebrate your success with you. And I can tell you, like 21 years ago, I did it, but it's something that you never forget. You literally never forget that day. Okay. Sorry, there's a question, Lynn?
Yeah, I was like, wow, I'm just listening to that
Yeah,
recount.
like I couldn't stress, my dear, how great of a feeling it is, because once again, you know you made it. And the thing about it as well, Lynn, the amount of work, because I'll be honest with you, life is good, but life can be hard as well. Just like the policing process, just like being a police officer, it's great, but it has its trials and tribulations as well. You understand? So after all that, knowing some of the sleepless nights, some of the times where you might have not been successful in the physical aspect, it all comes to a head at this point in time. You're giving your badge, you're number one, your family is there cheering you on. Us as an organization are behind you. Recruiters who would have been with you along the way are there. You're singing your praises, cheering you on. It means so, so much that day. And I hope to see each and every one of you who are interested in policing. I hope that you get to experience that. It doesn't have to be with us. I would love for it to be with our organization, but any organization that you see fit or that resonates with you. And then, so now, last but not least, we're going to look at, this is the level 4. So after all of that stuff that I said, you know what I mean? The graduation, all the sleepless nights, the fact that you had to study for all that stuff at OPC, wrap your mind around what it is to be a police officer. You're now on the road with a coach officer. You are given the opportunity to pick 3 of your top choices, but understand, once again, and I mentioned this before, the needs of the organization supersedes anything, and it has to. Okay, so as much as an organization, we would love to give you the places that you want. And what I mean is districts. It's where organizationally you're needed. Okay, so you are given 3 choices and you can get your top choice. But if you're not, don't be discouraged, because we also give you the opportunity at a later date to switch. So if you go to, let's say, Vaughan, which is 4 district, and it's just not where you want it to go, you obviously do what you need to do the work that you've been asked, but you can also reach out to other officers to see if anybody is interested in swapping with you. So you're not stuck. Okay, so my thing is to take everything and look at it. Even if you feel that it's negative, look at it as a positive, because everything is a test in life and even in the organization. Because as an organization, we might be looking at you to say, we want to see how resilient this person is. So although we're not here to play games, that's not what it's about. It's just testing a person's resolve or testing a person's mindset, because they weren't given what they wanted, but it was an organization. We just want to see that, how do they deal with that? Okay. Any questions or concerns before we move on to the last part of the slide here? And that's going to be in the interview preparation. Okay. So are we good still? So it is 5:30, and as I said, we have about 9 slides to go.
How's
So once
everyone
again,
doing?
sorry, what's that, Lynn?
I'm still good. I'm still
Okay.
enjoying this.
Okay, I appreciate you. So I just wanted to let you guys know, just 9 slides left, so it won't be that much longer. But now this is the most important part. So you've made it. You're at the interview stage and you're wondering, what do I have to do to prepare myself? Without me giving you too much, I will repeat for the 4th and 5th time. Our interview is a values-based one. And you can see here, we have 5 values, and you're going to be asked to exemplify each of the 5 values. All right, so come up with some scenarios for each of the values. 2 or 3 is always your best bet. Just so you know what I mean. If one doesn't work, boom, you have another one ready to go. Okay. So, and then, so now a little bit into sorry. So now when it comes to the interview part of it, so I don't know how many of you would have had an interview with a panel. So a panel meaning more than one. Prior to getting on as an officer, I've never had a panel interview. The term panel, or knowing that there's going to be more than one person, can kind of trip you up in your mind, but it's no different. It's no different. Understand that the only reason why there's 2 people there is just to make sure that it's fair, to make sure that the interviewer is hearing everything, nothing is left out, nothing is missed, and it's to your benefit. So once again, if it's one person, it's a little hard for me to be paying attention to you and writing. So once again, we have two people. One person is going to be tasked with answering asking the questions, and the other one's going to be tasked with kind of gathering the information and vice versa. Okay, and you can see an interview varies in length. Once again, it's going to depend on what you bring to the table, how many jobs you had, how much things we need to discuss, and that type of stuff. Candidates are evaluated as to how they represent each value. Okay, so you can see there once again that you're going to be evaluated on how you exemplify or how you provide examples for each of the 5 values. Okay. And then you can see here, we're going to do a comprehensive review of the police constable application submission. So we're going to go over everything in great detail. And we do this once again to ensure that everything is up to date, everything is accurate. And that's it, just to make sure we're not missing anything, because that's all part of us wanting to ensure that you're successful. We can easily steamroll through everything, but it's not going to do you any justice. It's not going to be fair to you. We want to ensure that, just like I said, each individual that comes in, although we as recruiters would have done this multiple times, every person is a new person, is a different person, is a case-by-case basis. So we want to ensure that we're giving this, whoever the person is, as much time and as much of our energy as we possibly could, and not just like, oh, we've done this 1,000 times and keep it moving. We don't want to think like that, because once again, everybody that comes in is a different person, different experiences, are going to be doing a different interview. Same interview, but just different questions, or sorry, different responses. Okay, and then we're going to do a comprehensive review of the background questionnaire. So the PBQ, so you provided all the info talking about your drug use, talking about whether or not you're having any criminal associations. And now, once again, it's going to be us just going into greater detail and ensuring that everything is as you said it was, because we would have done the background check and we just wanted to touch base again to ensure that nothing has changed. Okay, because once again, integrity is at the core of everything we do when it comes to policing and when it comes to the constable selection process. And then you can see here, it's going to be a structured police constable selection interview. Okay. And obviously I wouldn't be able to go into too much details with that. But the next slide, we're going to kind of touch upon some things just so you have an idea. So as you can see, the structure as we have it right here is going to be, biographically. We're going to look at some job knowledge. So you're going to want to know. So if you're applying with York, it would be incumbent on you and at least know our CEO or our chief. So at least know that. Know who the executive leadership team is of the ELT and who are the deputy chiefs. You maybe know the boundaries. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. Okay. Scenario is going to be scenario situational. So we're gonna once again go on based on the values based interview model. So we're gonna ask you some scenario based questions, and that's why I said try to come up with a couple scenarios, 2 to 3. So if you provide one and it doesn't work, you're able to hit the ground running with the second one, and you're not caught trying to think of one. And I mean caught in the sense of, because stress it can manifest itself in multiple ways. So if you feel that you're not prepared, you can derail yourself completely. So that's why just prepare yourself to the best of your ability. And one of the best ways is to just come up with a couple scenarios. Okay. And last but not least, it's going to be behavioral style. So tell us about what you did, how you did it, how to make you feel. So that type of stuff. Okay. And the model that we're going to be utilizing is going to be called the STAR model. So you can see it's going to be situation, task, action, and result. Okay. So it's going to be like, and the thing about it, you want to present something that's recent. Recency is always the best. Okay. And if it's something that happened 10 years ago, it would have to be something super exceptional. So once again, we want things that are more recent. Okay. You're gonna have to provide the details, and you're gonna have to provide some context in regards to when it happened. So the 5 W's: when, where, why, and what. Like, you know what I mean? And for the task, you're going to want to describe the task as well. What were you responsible for? You're going to want to also, as you can see here, describe some of the challenges and some of the expectation that you might have had or that might have been put on you. And basically what was needed. What did you need to do to accomplish the task? You're going to talk about the action. So you're going to elaborate on what you did and how you did it. Okay. And as well, you're also going to want to discuss what did you do to get there and how did you get there? And lastly, you're going to talk about some of the tools and the resources that were utilized for you to come up with the action. And then last but not least, we want to know what happened. So that's basically you closing it off. So once again, it's going to be the start. You're going to tell us about a time. You're going to provide the situation, the task. You're going to say the action as to what you did and the result, whether or not it was positive or negative. What did you learn from it? You know what I mean? What would you have done differently, if anything, or were you happy with what you did? So basically, the result is going to be you closing off the scenario or the situation. Okay? And as we said, it's going to be structured in a way that you're going to answer in a behavioral type of question. So once again, what did you do and how did you go about doing it? How did it make you feel? Positive or negative? What did you learn? What didn't you learn? All right. Okay, so moving along to preparing for the interview now. So just some quick things here. You can see here, review the responsibilities of the job. So know what you're applying for. It might sound crazy for me to even bring it up, but that's part of your research. Know what you're applying for. Know what some of it entails. And you're obviously not going to know everything because you're not an officer, but you'll know enough. There's enough information out there for you to accurately have an idea of what the responsibilities of the jobs are. And if you're applying for police or any of the career paths, when you do create your profile and you go into the portal, it basically tells you when you apply for a specific job, it tells you what the responsibilities of that specific job is, whether it's civilian, police, special constable, or auxiliary. It tells you what the responsibilities of that job is. And as we said, research. You got to research the organization. You got to know a little bit about the organization. At the top, you got to know who the leaders are. You probably should know about some of the municipalities in regards to how many they are, things like that. It goes without saying that you make sure that you give yourself the opportunity to have a great sleep, because stress and a lack of sleep could be the worst thing that can happen to you. So just give yourself, you know what I mean? Get the first thing that I always say to individuals, to give yourself a bit of grace, but also just to go easy on yourself. If you have an interview the next day, just take it easy. Maybe not going out to the clubs, or I don't know if you would be doing that, but you know what I mean? Just getting yourself, your mindset where it needs to be, preparing any last minute things that you need to go over, just ensuring that you're going to be your best for that interview the next day or the following day. Arrive early, we always say, because anything can happen. Once again, we understand that people can be late, but just try not to. Okay, and this goes without saying. You need to dress appropriately and you need to be presentable, because it is a very super competitive process. So you want to always have your best foot forward at each and every stage of the game. Back in the day, when prior to it being electronic, we used to have to physically drop in our resume. And we all know dropping off a resume takes literally 2 seconds. But the preparation in regards to, for me, like it took me a while just because I had to put my suit on, had to make sure I was shaved, haircut, all that, shoes, nice, polished, everything good to go. So me getting ready took way longer than it did for me to drop the resume off, but it's all about first impressions. So we just need to remember that. And another thing that goes without saying is have a firm handshake, because a firm handshake is a sign of confidence. And you're not going to destroy the person's hand. It's going to be firm enough to know that, so they know that you're confident, okay? And just once again, good posture, no slouching. Once again, that goes without saying. You're going to be just having to put your best foot forward. And absolutely, there will not be any sort of electronics allowed with you in the room. No notes, no electronics, no nothing. When you do come, you'll be asked to put your electronics in a bin and you'll be given it at the end of the interview. Okay? And that's just so we can keep the integrity and the interview. You know, we want to do that. We don't want information getting out about the interview, because that's going to ruin the integrity of the whole process. And that's not what we want. Okay. Okay, so just saw some of the things. Are we good to go still? Like, any questions? We have 3 slides left, actually 2 slides left.
Still okay?
Actually 1, this is the last one, and then we can go to some questions and then that's it. Okay, but so during the interview, and you know what, this one, I speak from the heart, because I just went through a promotional interview myself. And I remember I was asked when you're in your interview, there's going to be some of us that when it comes to talking about yourself, you can do it in your sleep. But then you're going to have certain individuals who, when it comes to talking about themselves, it's something very difficult for them. It's not that they can't do it. It's just very difficult for them, because a lot of times when they do things, it's not for their own personal gain, it's to help the greater good. But when it is an interview, You need to speak up for yourself and you need to advocate for yourself. So if it's you talking about I, and you're not that type of person, just understand that it's only for the interview, but you need to do it. Okay. And obviously humility and being humble is great, but in the process, I personally say you need to be a beast because it's that competitive. Okay. Listen closely to the interviewer. And the reason why you want to listen close, because you want to make sure that you're understanding what's being asked. And do not feel any way if you need to ask for clarification, because once again, that's all part of the process of us wanting to ensure that you're going to be successful. Because it would make no sense if we're asking questions and you don't understand what we're asking. It makes no sense. So listen up, but ask questions if you need clarification. All right. And when it comes to the process as well, it's a time to advocate. As I said, it's a time to champion yourself as well. So there might be some stuff that maybe we didn't touch upon, but let the interviewer knows, because there might be an opportunity, there might not have been an opportunity for you to talk about your abilities and some of your achievements. In the interview it would, because we want to get an accurate picture of the person that we're potentially going to be hiring and who's going to be working with us. So once again, it's not you tooting your own horn. It's you advocating for yourself in an interview when you're supposed to. Okay, so just remember that. And remember this part, and know what value you bring to the unit or to the organization or to the service or to anything. Know your worth. And that just goes hand in hand with going to an organization or going to a place where you feel valued. Right? So know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and know once again what you are going to bring to our organization, because understand the fact that you've gotten that far to the interview stage, it means a lot, because not everybody gets an interview. So once again, it's your time to shine. So once again, your time to show us as an organization some of the great things that you would have done that you might not have been able to mention in the earlier part of the interview, or in the constable selection stage. Okay, and most important, this goes without saying, I mentioned it a couple times, but you need to be honest in your responses. Okay, because I said one thing, as much as we're in there and we want to see you be successful, we're an organization, a police organization that does investigations exceptionally well. And I say that just to say that if you think that you're going to get one over, or you think that you, once again, not saying something is going to kind of not be known, don't do that to yourself, because you're only setting yourself up for failure. And the unfortunate thing too is, an unfortunate, but a reality is that organizations talk to each other. We have to. There's certain things that we don't discuss due to privacy, but there's certain things that we are allowed to discuss. You know what I mean? So if it's something with your integrity and another organization calls us, we're going to have to be honest. Okay, so just once again, there's no opportunity for you to lie. If you think that you're going to lie, then just don't enter the process. Figure out what you need to figure out, and enter when you know that everything has been sorted out and you can provide accurate and honest answers. And last but not least, and it goes without saying, is to be yourself. Do not, and this is from me now, do not come into the interview thinking you know what a police officer is, because you don't. You cannot, because you're not an officer, respectfully speaking. And also understand that we would have recruited you, we would have given you the interview based on what we saw on your resume, not based on what we think, i.e., thinking that you're going to be a cop. We're not thinking like that. We're going based on, oh, this person's resume is exceptionally well, so this is what we're going on. So that's why being yourself is so important, because you don't need to act like anybody else. Act like the person who you are. Act like the person who was invited to be interviewed with York Regional Police and nobody else. Okay? So that's going to be the last of our presentation. As I said, time now is 5:47. I just wanted to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for being here with me for this time. I apologize for going over the allotted time, but I just wanted to ensure that you guys had all the information that I know you needed to be successful with us.
Nice.
Okay.
Anne-Marie, we are so appreciative. Thank you for being so thorough, comprehensive. I wondered if you have just a moment for any final questions.
Of course. Of
Thank
course.
you, Jennifer. Anybody here wanted to? Jennifer, you're looking at potentially volunteering, I think.
Yeah, I'm interested in volunteering. But auxiliary would be something that I'm interested in. I just have to figure out what I'm going to be doing with my master's degree and all that.
Oh, good. Oh, it's master's. Okay, I think I missed that. Good for you.
No, I'm not in my master's yet, but I
Okay.
am trying to do a master's in criminology.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say something, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Why try? Why not just do? So
Ah,
my thing is that, like, the only time I dream, wish, hope is when I'm sleeping. But when I'm fully awake, I like to be intentional. And as I said, sometimes depending on who you say it to, they might think you're being over conceited, but that means they're not for you then. They're
Mhm.
not for you. So just be intentional. I believe in the universe. I'm more of a spiritual person than I am religious, but I believe in the universe, and the universe doesn't make mistakes. All right. So you got to put your intentions out there, and the universe will do what it needs to. All right. And at the end of the day, give yourself grace because you've made it this far.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
love that. Yeah,
It's the
thank you.
truth. Okay. So I hope to see you in the next, I would say months, but maybe not months, but in the next year or so. I would love to see you.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Because you definitely have what it takes, my friend.
Thank
Definitely you
you.
have what it takes. Okay.
Yes,
And
and
it goes
thank you
without
so
saying,
much.
anybody that's interested, you have what it takes. Because I say, humbly speaking, if I can do it, I probably couldn't do the fitness again because I'm an older guy. But if I could do it, anybody else can do it, man. You just have to believe in yourself. Okay.
and Jennifer, you were going to say on top of that?
Yeah, sorry, Jen, I might have cut you off.
No,
I was
Oh,
getting
no,
deep
no
there.
worries.
no,
No, I was just
timing was
gonna
perfect.
no, I was just gonna thank you for the opportunity. I learned so much from this because it is
Thank you.
sometimes difficult to find all of this information through my own research. So it was really, really, really helpful to talk to you about this.
Yeah, no, you're very welcome. And I appreciate your time and everybody else's time. As I said, even though I went over, you guys still are here with me, and I thank you guys so much. And as I said, yeah, my batch number is 1530 at yrp.ca. But Lynn also has my info as well. So if anybody's interested and wants to reach out, you can please feel free to go ahead and do so. We would love to hold mentorship sessions as well for the individuals who are interested in applying with us. And we can, even if you're not fully there to apply with us, still reach out to us and we can facilitate mentorship sessions to just kind of see where you're at. Okay. And if you're interested in any sort of the fitness aspect or side of the house, please reach out to me, let me know, and I can put you in contact with the appropriate individuals. Okay. So literally what it's like Baskin Robbins, we might not have 31 flavors, but whatever you need, we definitely have what you need and require. Okay.
Wow, that's amazing. Final comment, Sunil, before we go, or no? I just wanted to thank everyone for attending today. Thank you to Youth for Change, Youth Connections Cafe, for allowing us to be here on this platform. It has been really just an amazing time spending time with you, Anne-Marie. Thank you so much for your knowledge, expertise, and I surely hope some of our friends pursue.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Lynn. And I just want to thank you as well, Sunil, Jennifer, and Vida. Is that how you pronounce your name?
BD?
VD, sorry. Just want to
Yeah.
thank you all. So yeah, if anybody needs to reach out, please feel free to go through Lynn. She'll be more than happy to provide my information and I will take it from there. And last but not least, as I said, if you, hopefully you guys are following us. If you're not, that's okay. But it is going to be YRP Recruiting, and that's going to be our recruiting page. And then we have the official YRP. It's going to be official YRP for our corporate Instagram account. Okay.
It's a great
So recruiting
Instagram.
one, yeah, the recruiting one is going to be YRP Recruiting, and our corporate is going to be official YRP.
Amazing.
Okay.
Really good social media, actually. So just a shout out to.
Can I say which one, Lynn? So, because humbly
Insta.
speaking, so the corporate one is obviously done corporately,
Yes.
but the recruiting one, humbly speaking, Lynn, I kind of take care of that.
That's you then.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
recruiting,
thank you I
so-
appreciate your kind words. Thank
Thanks
you
for
very
mentioning
much.
them. I'm definitely following, and I've turned others onto it as well too. So
I appreciate you more than you know, Lynn. Thank you so much to you and everybody else. If that's it, have a great evening. And as I said, I'll be more than happy to answer any question that any of you will have. Even if there wasn't any individuals on the call here today, if you want to reach out, I have more than enough time for each and every one of you.
Thank you so much. 1,000 thank yous. Thank you.
1,001 thank yous to you, Lynn.
Thank you so much,
You're
everyone.
so very welcome, my lovely. Take care. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.